because psychologically I cannot take seeing another girl put her hand up like that. He said, the third daughter is your mother, Sumayya. So they said, if Rasulullah has come to say that the child is a blessing and that the female should not be buried alive, then me and your father will come towards the religion of Rasulullah. So you found that those who come and say Islam oppresses the female, Rasulullah came to a land where they were burying their child. If it wasn't for Rasulullah, females wouldn't have been allowed any rights in the religion or in Arabia. Rasulullah came and stopped this female infanticide, and they come forward in the West and say, Muhammad the oppressor of the woman. Our role is to reply back to these people with verses like this, that the Arabs he was dealing with, when they heard that a daughter was born to them, they would think, should I hide myself? Because what he would do, he'd hide himself in the tent. I don't want no one to come and visit me. Why? What's wrong? Because I'd have to tell them that I have a baby daughter. Lowest level of jahili. Therefore, when you look at a child is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore, because the child is a blessing, we have to engage in dialogue with our child. That's why Pennsylvania State University had a study about the different types of fathers you find. And they wanted to see that the role of the father was so important. What's the different types of fathers you find in a society? And they said that there are 4 different types of fathers you will find in society. And that these 4 are easily applied in our own communities. And please make sure that these types of talks are given to your wives and your daughters at home. Because I know they don't have access to this lecture in the afternoon. And these lectures are very important for them, in order that they are able to see a social aspect as well as the historical aspects we discuss later on in the evening. When you look here, Pennsylvania State University said what? That they said there's 4 types of fathers. Number 1, caregiver. Number 2, disciplinarian. Number 3, disengaged. And number 4, a playmate. 4 types of fathers. Said, get any father in society, they'll fit one of these 4. What was the meaning of a caregiver? Caregiver is the type of father who, when he sees his daughter is down, he says to her, come near my shoulder, tell me what you want. What's the problem? When he sees his son is going through a hard time, he tells him, for example, if you need any help from me, I'm there for you. If he sees his wife is having problems with his parents, he tells her, don't worry, I'm not going to take any sides, we'll discuss the issue properly between all of us. He's a caregiver. He acts as what is known in philosophy as a father figure. Then you have a second type of father, disengaged. He sees his son leaving home at 11:30 in the night, and his son says, Dad, I'm going to the dentist. He says, Bismillah, go. Tell me which dentist is open at 11:30 in the night. Or his son says, I'm going around to stay in my friend's house for the whole weekend. Why? We want to revise for our exams. You don't need the whole weekend. Go there one night. The other 2 nights you playing PlayStation or you going out, because I don't know. This type of father, very disengaged. His son comes back home, his eyes are red. He says, are you ill? These days when the eyes are red, it's not illness anymore. A father who's disengaged is not aware what's happening. A father who's disengaged buys a hi-fi system at home for his son, thinking his son will listen to Quran. Whereas the system you're providing at home may be used for other purposes. Second type of father, disengaged. Third type of father, disciplinarian. Now in their philosophy of disciplinarian, they said that type of father, have you prayed salah? No, slap. Have you fasted? No, slap. Have you been good to your parents? Slap. The only way they deal is by slap. And that's why you find, unfortunately, in many Islamic communities, this idea of beating is not allowed in the religion. It's not allowed. Okay, the culture dictates that you saw your father get the belt out and therefore you should do it. No, you shouldn't. Who told you should do it? Who told you your father was even correct? Who told you your father was even educated? So because he saw a belt doesn't mean your son sees a belt. The fourth type was the playmate. Playmate is the one, his son enjoys soccer, he plays with him soccer. His son enjoys cricket, he plays with him cricket. His son enjoys this holiday place, he goes to that holiday place. Why? Because he recognized, as Amir al-Mu'mineen said, bring up your children in a different way to possibly what you are brought up. Environments change. Sometimes you find you like football, but he likes cricket. And because you like football, you have two options. Either you have to force him to play football, or you say, no, my son came out different to me, I've got to accept it. I may not like cricket, but I'm going to make an effort to go and play with him. A playmate. Or for example, sometimes your son says, Dad, let's go for example to a sports match, football match. I remember it's ironic that Mourinho has got sacked, and I'm actually enjoying it. I don't like him at all. Of course, being a Liverpool supporter and my manager being the best in the league, I went with my father to my first match. I went with my father in 1997, Chelsea versus Liverpool. And the fact is that I remember that my father, who's a die-hard Manchester United supporter, so we have to give some da'wah at home sometimes, tabligh. And so he is a United supporter and he would never go to a Liverpool match. But for me, he said, let's go. A fourth type of father is a playmate. Not everything narrow-minded. We can't go to a football stadium because you might see things which are haram and go with your son. That's 1.5 hours could make 5 years of difference to the religiosity of your son. Because if he sees his dad's interested in his life, then the son's going to be interested. But if he sees dad is far away, the son will go to look for his heart to be cultivated somewhere else. That's why Amir al-Mu'mineen again used to say, look at Ali ibn Abi Talib, all his words are the nature of mankind. He says to Imam Hassan, he says, the heart of a youth is like an uncultivated piece of land. Whatever you throw on it, it accepts. Therefore I tried to mold your heart before it hardened, so that you took from the examples of my life and you applied them into your life. The heart of the youth, read this, it's in Nahj al-Balagha, Imam Ali's letter to Imam Hassan on the way back from Siffin. Long letter about father and the son relationship. And that's where the problem lies in the marriages today, brothers and sisters. That's where the problem lies. Before our sons and daughters get married, we should be providing them a set of sermons of Ahlul Bayt about their duties as parents. Give them a whole pack. Let them read all of these. The great work done by Sayyid Muhammad Rizvi, when he wrote the book about the youth and the morals and the marriage and so on, in Toronto, allowed people to understand what was seen as taboo subjects about sex, about their relationship, about foreplay in a relationship, were seen as taboo subjects. But there's no such thing as taboo in Islam. Islam says, come out and speak, let them be aware. So he says the heart of the youth is like an uncultivated piece of land. If I drive now in Dar es Salaam, I may see a piece of land where it says for sale. It's a dry piece of land. And I look at it, and I'm a good developer. And 10 minutes later, another person drives past this piece of land. And he looks at it, and he's not got a good reputation as a developer. When I look at it, I think, how can I build it? I put 8 floors, a penthouse on the top, underground parking, a swimming pool outside. Okay. I've thought of how to cultivate what is uncultivated. A bad developer will say, let me see. If they give me planning permission for 6, what I might try and do is put a 7th one on top and see what happens. Have you seen the one near the beach? There's those 2 big buildings. Last year I saw them and they're still in the same position as they are now, as they were last year. You see them, they're beautiful opposite the beach, but I don't think the planning permission came for the top floors. And so there were 2 types of builders. Now, with our sons and our daughters, their hearts are uncultivated. It depends how quickly you get in. When Quran said, وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانَ لِإِبْنِهِ وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ, when the Quran said, وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ, what does it mean? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانَ لِإِبْنِهِ يَا بُنَيَّ لَا تُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ. No. Quran said, وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانَ لِإِبْنِهِ وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ. يَعِظُهُ means it's as if Luqman said, before saying shirk